My name is Dustin Luther, and I'm here with Dun & Bradstreet. We're going to continue our series on business growth stories. Today, I'm really excited to invite Matt and Avantika. Am I saying it right? Avantika?
Yes.
So Matt McKelvey.
Yes.
And you're with the McKelvey Group.
Correct.
So these stories are really meant just to kind of get at understanding kind of what motivates business owners and to kind of get out there. The entrepreneurial spirit clearly is
Yes.
strong. I got a little bit of background on your business in particular. Right. Maybe just tell us kind of a little bit about your business, and then we'll dive deeper from there.
All right, no problem, Dustin. Our business is actually a support company. We support government contractors and commercial companies, and commercial companies on growing. I think the biggest way to provide, the tagline I wanted to put in my company was grow, period, because I believe that's what excites me about small businesses. A lot of our clients are small companies, and what we do is provide financial or accounting support for them, pricing support in the federal arena. We train, and we also do business valuations. So the idea is we look at a company and say, what do you have and what do you need in order to grow your business? Hopefully freeing up the owners, the management team to focus on customers, their employees, their growth, and freeing them up from having to worry about these things on the backside of it. That's the general idea of what we do.
It's very cool. And so give us a sense of how big you guys are right now.
Yeah, we actually just hit our 25th person, so we're still a small company, but a company that started with just me. The McKelvey Group was named that at the beginning because I did everything. Yeah. I was the group. But we've grown substantially in the last few years. Basically, it was changing our approach to building our business, which started out as me, which was actually the worst way to grow because it became just about me. And once I started bringing on folks like Avantika, who's our VP of pricing, we brought on some folks to run our accounting practice, and we started building a team and building a business. And since we've done that, we've been just growing as fast as we possibly can, which has been great. We've also changed our marketing structures too. We did things we do for marketing, which used to be me talking or meeting folks and word of mouth, to proactive things such as using social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, posting, blogs, doing webinars. We've been actually adding a lot to our baseline. So that's what we've been doing to grow.
It totally makes sense. And so it's interesting because it sounds like a lot of what you're doing, where your passion is, it comes through is in growth.
It is.
So it's interesting to think in some ways how you have to kind of also turn that on yourself, right?
You do. It's funny. I joke with a lot of people and a lot of business owners. I'll tell them all the time, the cobbler's children have no shoes syndrome. Yeah. I could tell a client exactly what they need to do to grow their business, which was, focus on your clients. Make sure you have a management team in depth. Make sure you build an infrastructure. And I don't mean that to be bureaucratic, but a way to grow without having to add bodies for every new client. Do that, you'll grow. And I would tell clients this all the time. They heard my advice, was great. But then when I shone the mirror on myself a little bit, I realized I wasn't doing that. And so, no, it is a passion of mine because this is where the excitement is. I've worked for GE as a black belt and one of the largest companies in the world. I've worked for mid-sized companies and small businesses. Small businesses is where the real excitement. You can make a change in a day. You can change your direction as an organization. You can make improvements on the fly. It doesn't take bureaucracy. It doesn't take time. And it's amazing. It can be great.
It's very rewarding.
It is.
Definitely. Seeing them grow and growing with them, that's the best part.
I believe it. I believe it. So we're here today at an event in D.C. Right. It's really around federal contracting and marketing into the federal government, that kind of thing. Yes. So it's interesting, is my understanding is you're really working mostly, though, with what we call federal contractors, not the federal government.
Correct. Most of our clients, we do some direct work with the government where we would actually contract with the government themselves. But our business base is split with commercial companies that don't work with the federal government at all, and federal contractors, which are the folks that deliver. Those are the ones that you hear about. They respond to RFPs or requests for proposals. They provide the labor or the products or the services to the government themselves. So it's kind of like we're the ones that provide the shovels and the ladders and the wheelbarrows to the folks seeking the gold.
That's very cool. So let me maybe just tell me a little bit about when did you start?
Business started in 2006.
Okay, so it's been a decade now.
It's been a decade.
Very cool. It's a great story so far. I'm liking it. When you look back and think, what was that one thing that made the difference when you said you were kind of needed to look in the mirror and go? So what did you change that you would say when you look back? Well, that actually worked.
Absolutely. I think that the mirror moment was when I realized I could not work any more hours. I was working full time, and I was actually starting to have to, for the first time, sell clients I couldn't support them because I hadn't built or trained a team. I hadn't built an organization, and I'm even doing it now. I kept talking about me. Yeah. And it isn't me. I even considered changing the name of the company because my name on the company wasn't intentional. I didn't start my business to be a consulting firm. It was more of a, let me see how this goes and find out what I'm going to do. But it was saying, all right, look, I need to look at this not about me, but about we as a team. and building a true team and a culture and an organization. And once we put that into place, it started to free me up. Now it's a work in progress. It never stops. There's always continuous change and improvement. But it was really looking and saying, I literally can't work any more hours.
So what changes did you make?
Okay. First and foremost was hiring senior folks. Originally, all my hires were junior, mid-level people that I trained up, which is great. They're fantastic, and a lot of them are still with us. But I need to bring in expertise that can not only deliver, but also manage. And that's not easy to find. And it's also a trust factor for an owner to start bringing in someone to give work to and then truly letting them take it and run with it. And Avantika was our first senior hire, and she's been spectacular. She may not agree because I've put a lot of work on her, but we'll see. And then it was making a plan for the other areas of our business and hiring in. So it really was about developing a management team. In addition, it was trying to look at culture, making an organization of culture, not just about Matt McKelvey, but about what do we want to be as a business and an organization and a group. And I actually like talking about us more as a group and a team than as a business. And it's really worked out. We started having events with the group. We started doing amazing race runs, or we did escape the rooms. And it sounds a little hokey, but it was great. People got to know each other more, and it makes you want to be in the trenches a little more fiercely with your peers. We've also started training a lot more people to what we do. Those things mattered. They actually built a base, so it became less about me, then it became about the management team, and now it's becoming less about the management team and about the folks that work with them.
It's interesting that idea of building a culture is something that I come back to on the podcast, and we come back to all the time. And it's such an interesting part of leadership that probably when you start, you're not always anticipating, right? Like that's part of how your job has to change.
No, you usually think that you start a company, you start a business, and it's about me and my culture. This is how I want to do things. I want to. We actually went through a full website redesign. We went through our principles as an organization, and what was great about it wasn't me giving the content. Our team did it. We had exercise and meeting and group session after session. What are our core principles? And what I loved, what was just rewarding for me, is it wasn't exactly what I would have said. It was better. It was much better than what I could have come up with on my own. And it really did encompass not just what I wanted when I originally started the company, but where we've grown to now, which is, again, not about me. And so it's made a huge difference. And having them involved in that, the idea of defining the culture, it's amazing.
And it's great because, we have demographics, from very young folks to very senior folks across the team, and it is something that's bonding everybody together. So everybody has had different exposure to different work cultures before, and everybody loves it now, and they're a part of the team. They feel like this is where they want to be. Eventually people leave, eventually people, grow in their careers. However, we've had a really successful last year of recruiting and retaining folks that want to come to work. They're excited. They're not just, saying, oh, okay, I just got to fire up my laptop today and work 8 hours and that's it.
They're involved.
They're involved. They come out on weekends for our events. For our charity events at 7 a.m. in Silver Spring. So that shows commitment beyond the normal. So we are very happy to foster that and want to continue fostering that environment of safety and security and, camaraderie.
And fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
That's great. No, it's a fun thing to think about. Getting into some of the more, I would say, I want to dive into a little bit of sales.
Sure.
What have you done? Would you say that you look back and think, okay, that was a moment that like that's how I go out and get my next client. And this is the strategies I'm using. How do you guys kind of view that?
I think the moment for me, and this happened a little while ago, and it was just me, and we've actually expanded, but was the idea of starting to give content and knowledge ahead, and then seeing the clients come for the addition. So in other words, I started teaching classes, doing training sessions and seminars. Some people paid to attend, some were free, but the idea was to actually go out and tell them what they needed to know. Not because I was scared, and not be scared that they were going to take that and leave and run. They're going to find it somewhere. But if I can tell them what they need, and then there's some kind of relationship that we can build, either from a consultative arrangement or a longer term, great. If there's not, I've done something that's valuable to the organization. So it's basically building a brand of knowledge, not a brand of delivery. And then the delivery comes from that. So it was starting to do the training, and then it was saying, okay, let's go beyond that. Let's start making it clear that if someone has a question or someone needs something, they can call us, they can talk to us. We don't bill for that. It's just answering a question. The billing or any kind of relationship from a revenue perspective and a sales perspective comes from the longer term benefit to both companies. And that's really what it was. So it was stopping trying to sell something and starting to say, here's our knowledge base, here's what we can do. Is that of value to you? I like it to baseball. I was trying to be an opener, an opening pitcher, and I could never do that. But a middle reliever and closer is a very different story because someone's already come to the table for you.
Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
that was a big thing.
So then it makes me kind of want to flip the question a little bit.
Sure.
Did you go and try some tactics? You went back, wow, that didn't work at all. Like that was a failure, but you learn from it, right? Like that's the idea.
I'd love to say I was perfect. We have not been. We did hire business development and salespeople earlier in the company, and they didn't work out. And I don't know that it was necessarily their fault. We didn't have a marketing structure. We didn't have a message. We didn't have a sales plan or a campaign. I basically hired someone that was good at sales, I believed, and said, go sell. That's not growing a company. It really isn't. And it doesn't line up with what I just said about being a knowledge-based organization. So by defining roles and having senior leads in the practice areas, they can start developing their knowledge base and presenting that out. Our sales come from a different method. And that's for a consulting firm. Now, if you're selling products or you're selling something else, it might be a very different model. And it's also the personality of our organization. We're getting our sales now from our most junior people. We have interns. They're actually helping us develop marketing campaigns and pushing them. One of our interns came up with and actually one of our interns and our most junior hires, with a book club, business book club at one of our offices with the rest of the shared space, so that other people can come and say, let's read a business book once a quarter and start talking about it and developing relationships and talking about how this could apply to business. Yeah. It's the knowledge thing. And I mean, I'm not saying that probably a lot of people don't know, but for me it crystallized once I realized that it was more about me specifically, not just the environment as a whole. We have a lot of knowledge. Let's present it out, and then when we can help people, they'll come to us.
That's great. No, it's fascinating. Yeah. Your example there seems right on. Where sometimes you know what you need to do. Let's say it's sales or business development, but you don't always go about it. Right. You try things, and that didn't work, and learn from it.
I'll follow on to that. The other thing too is that we're okay with trying something and having it not work. Yeah, that's also been very good for me because I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but I sometimes could overanalyze in the past and say, let's make sure we have everything lined up before we go try something. And instead of trying to make this large campaign or this major effort, this major sales pitch, we said let's do it more bite-sized. Let's start trying different things and see what works, what doesn't work. Whether it's an email campaign or a webinar series or what it might be, try them. If they work and they resonate, great. We'll keep doing it. If they don't, it's a lesson learned, and we either revisit it a few years later and see if it's going to work, or say that's just not the path for us. So being willing to fail is probably as important as anything else to being successful. At least that's my experience.
And it resonates with me completely. Like our office, to give you an idea, we have this big wall. It's something to kind of it's fun, and we call it the failure wall.
Oh, I love it.
And every time we just screw something up, the idea is go write it on the wall. You know what? You learn from it and you move on.
That's
so
right.
the ability just to write down your failures
on
a wall is fun.
We might steal that.
You wouldn't be the first.
I like it.
Taking one step further, our team. We actually used to be separate from Dun & Bradstreet.
Okay.
But our team back then used to set up our bonus structure. So half of your bonus was based on how well you failed.
No kidding.
And half it was how well you succeeded. And the idea was if you weren't failing, you probably weren't pushing yourself. You weren't uncomfortable. You weren't doing things that made you really challenged. And I love that idea. Like when I first got introduced to that concept, like it was like, really? Yeah. But you have to sit there at the end of the year and kind of say, like, this is what I tried to do. I bit off more than I could chew. Right. I thought this would work. It didn't. And if you're not doing that, those are actually the idea being those are the employees you sometimes even want.
I would agree. I would agree.
I mean, it's our firm belief, at least mine, is that you learn more from failure than from success.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm training. The team that I manage. I am even telling that to my daughter, just because you learn a lot more as you fail in life. You learn those lessons and they stay with you forever. So we believe in making mistakes, not deliberately, but we don't.
And learning from them.
Yeah, we learn from them. We don't ostracize anybody or we don't punish.
No one in our company is ever hurt by making a mistake. The key is to learn from it and to avoid repeating the same efforts that got you that spot. You do that. To follow on to what Avantika's saying it really is about, and what you were saying is, Dustin, is pushing the boundaries a bit. Don't be sitting still and being worried about if I do this, I might make a mistake. No, go forward. Do your best to avoid the mistake. But in failing too, it's not always the failure. It's what you did to fail that you can improve. Mm-hmm. Ways to improve your process, way to improve your approach. Those things all pay off. It does. Because that's how I got where I was. That's how Avantika got where she is. And I'm going to assume it's a lot of ways that you got where you are. It happens that way.
Yeah. Well, I could keep talking about with you guys for a long time, but I think this has been really fascinating. Avantika and Matt, thank you guys both so much. If people want to learn more about you or reach out, how should they contact you?
Well, the best way to reach us is through our website, which is common. It's www.themckelveygroup.com, McKelvey GRUP.com. It's funny. TMG's been taken since 1997. I can't get it. I'm not willing to pay the money for it. But it's there, and you can look us up on Google. Just do a search on us, TMG or the McKelvey Group. You'll find us very quickly.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks again for coming on here. It's a wonderful hearing your story.
Great.
So
I appreciate the time.